Good evening, everyone. And I think this is the right time for everyone to kickstart our UGC NET exam preparation. I think after Pongal holidays, I think the next session which we going to plan is UGC NET preparation and also about paper two, management and commerce. So before that, I will give introduction, and few of our students also joined, and people who have not known about Knowledge Vibes Academy, just a small introduction about our academy. And yes, Knowledge Vibes Academy is an LLP firm, and we have started in the year 2018, end of December, and then close to 3 years, 3.2 years have been covered. And in this, we have started with three courses: UGC NET exam, NEET preparation, as well as digital marketing. And then after 2 years, we started stock market. So as of now, four courses have been successfully running. And in that, UGC NET is our prominent and main course. Like paper one, we have done around 10 batches. Close to 104 students have been trained in this 3 years. And this year, this is our third anniversary, this January 30th. So we thought of starting our paper two, management, commerce, computer science, as well as English. Management and English, we already started one batch. So this is our second batch for management. And in this, from this year onwards, we started management as well as commerce as a single batch, and we'll be covering all the units. And computer science also we have been started. So before that, we thought of having introduction with faculty, and many people have asked about the courses, and more inquiries about the faculties who will be taking our classes, and like that. So we thought of, okay, we'll have some before introduction to the faculty, and also we have some knowledge. And most of the students we got inquiries are freshers, so people who are they are very eager to know about the facts, how to crack the UGC NET exam. So there are a lot of inquiries. So I will be speaking to every individual leads, and close to 30 minutes, 35 minutes. So I thought of, okay, we'll have some webinar. People, I need to connect with the faculties so that we'll have some introduction, and then we'll have clear all the doubts regarding the exams, so that once we get into the courses, so you'll have the perfect goal, and then your study plans, everything, so that you can start your own study plans and then strategies. So this is a webinar all about the UGC NET exam preparation, and exclusive for paper two, management and commerce. So you can post your doubts. We already collected your queries, and I have sent to Aman Kumar Dubey sir. And yes, to give you introduction about Aman Kumar Dubey, he's a friend, and he was an like 5 years back, he was a UPSC aspirant, and he cleared prelims, mains, and then he joined central government, and then he quit, and then because he has a passion for teaching, so he came back to teaching. And then he was training for UPSC aspirants, and he is a renowned faculty for UGC NET management as well as UPSC management papers also. So across India, he is training more number of students with many multiple batches, and he is also assistant professor in a private colleges, private business school in Coimbatore. And yes, he also cleared UGC NET management as well as commerce in 2017-18, and he is a UGC NET JRF topper. And right now he is also pursuing his PhD. And yes, so there are a lot of credentials, and he has very good in-depth knowledge about the management. And right away, he whenever if you post a questions or a query, he can be giving you the clear ideas about all the details of the questions. So I think we are very happy to associate with Aman Kumar Dubey, and he also started his own startup. The name is India Learns, and he is also giving a few programs for school students as well as the competitive exams. So we are very happy to associate with India Learns. And yes, I think we can start our webinar today, Aman. So thank you so much, and the dais is yours. Take care.
Thank you, Srinivasan sir. That was a very good introduction. So I always believe that as a teacher, we always have to be humble, and our accomplishments do not matter. In fact, 5 minutes back, I was just talking to some of my students who have written their UPSC management mains today, and one of the students sent me the question paper actually, and coincidentally, 4 days back before the examination, we were discussing the important topics. So I gave him some 35 topics that you prepare this aggressively. And out of that 35 topics, we have 25 topics in the question paper of UPSC. And there was not a single question in the question paper that we have not discussed in the previous classes. So yeah, thank you for the introduction, and good evening to all my dear students and all the participants here. All right, so good to go. Before we start about UGC NET preparation specifically for commerce and management, I would like to brief you that there is one secret to cracking competitive examinations. See, in my last 10 years of my career, I have cracked a lot of competitive exams, and I tell this with all humility, that be it UPSC or be it UGC NET, I never prepared for UGC NET. I was able to clear the examination UGC NET and JRF not once but twice. I also cleared the Tamil Nadu state eligibility test twice again. So what is the secret to cracking these competitive examinations? Okay, see, when I interact with students at all levels, undergraduates, postgraduates, doctoral students, and all of that, there's one common secret that everyone tells for cracking any competitive examination, and that is previous year questions. If you have a good footing, if you have a good understanding of how the questions have been asked in the previous years, you will have a very solid base to prepare for. So what I have done for your batch, so the new batch that is going to come up for UGC NET, what I've done for you guys is I have roughly segregated last 25 years of UGC NET management and commerce questions. I have segregated them topic wise. We have classified them so that all of you can use it as a ready-made material to build your foundation. Second thing I believe is, the key to cracking NET examination specifically, leave other competitive exams. NET examination tests two things. One is your teaching and research aptitude, and other is your knowledge base. So you all know that once you clear the examination, you go and join either as a assistant professor, or you take up your PhDs, or you do research. In all these three fields, two skills are very, very important. One is your ability to teach to students. Okay, that is tested by your first paper one, and a little bit of general knowledge. They do not test too much of general knowledge. It is not like UPSC examination. It is very basic. It is at if I would give 10 marks, 10 on 10 to UPSC in terms of general knowledge, I think UGC NET will be somewhere around 4 to 4.5. So you need bare minimum understanding of general knowledge, little bit of aptitude again. So if I give 10 on a scale to a CAT examination in terms of aptitude, UGC NET will score somewhere, let's say 4 in terms of toughness or difficulty. And that is for paper one. And in general knowledge and teaching and research aptitude questions, I don't think that you're going to take 3 minutes to solve a question. You either know the answer or you don't know the answer. So you round off the bubble, 1 markers. The time that you require can be used to work your aptitude based questions. And I believe they are also very simple. You can solve an aptitude question in 30 seconds to 1 minute. And that should be your strategy if you are targeting paper one. So you will have to ensure that your preparation strategy is appropriate to solve the aptitude questions. When it comes to teaching, research, or general knowledge, you can round off the bubbles. Aptitude has to be something that has to be prepared thoroughly. And here also you can refer to the previous year question papers. Obviously, I'll also be providing you guys with the question bank that I have made. But beyond that, a little bit of research by yourself is always going to help you. Now let's come to core of management, paper 2, and as well as commerce. First, I'll brief you about management. See, management is a subject that is very, very close to my heart. I did my MBA for the sake of, taking up UPSC optional for taking up the management optional in the UPSC Civil Services examination. And I fell in love with the subject. So I did an MBA specifically to study management, not for a job or anything. I had a seat with IIM also. I scored about 98 percentile back then in CAT. I did not take up the IIM seat because I wanted to explore management as a subject. If you take management, the foundations, I believe, are very, very important. When you approach the NET paper, see, NET is a paper where they do not test your knowledge in just one subject. Please understand, management has multiple modules. You start with basics of management. You have HRM, marketing, finance, your information systems, strategic management, cost accounting, all of these things are there. So a lot of management students come with a question, sir, how do we study, so many subjects? How do we cover so many subjects? For that, there are two clear-cut strategies. What is your timeline? What is your goal of clearing the examination? You say, sir, I have 6 months to clear NET examination. I will say go ahead with a deep learning, go ahead with books, which I'll be suggesting you. Or if you say, no, sir, I have to clear the exam in only 1 month or 2 months, then you will have to take up the shortcut strategy. And I believe in the shortcut strategy, the output is going to be less. So keep a 6 months time frame to clear the examination. See, do not be in a hurry. I would say that I see a lot of students, they read for 1 month and then they appear for the examination. That is not the appropriate strategy. Please make a note of it. Always my suggestion to all my students, in no matter what exam you're preparing for, is that give your best, do the groundwork, build the foundations for 6 months, 4 months, how much ever time it is required, and then appear for the exam. If you think that without the, if I have to say in Tamil, ஒண்ணுமே பண்ணாம ஒரு மாசத்துல நீங்க போய் எக்ஸாம் எழுதணும்னு ஆசைப்பட்டீங்கன்னா, that is not something that is going to work out. So always ensure that you have laid a solid foundation. 6 months, I think, is a very good, timeline. If you study for 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours a day, I'm not asking you to go and sit and study for 8 hours. UPSC aspirants do that. I don't want you to become a UPSC aspirant. Study for 2 to 3 hours per day. Study for 6 months. It is more than sufficient to clear UGC NET and JRF. Okay, and you should always, aim for the best. Never aim for just net, always aim for JRF. When I appeared for the first time, in the first attempt, I cleared just net, and that was also without preparation. So then when I looked at, okay, without preparation, if I can clear net, why should I not prepare a little bit better and go for JRF? I immediately started preparing. 6 months later, I appeared again, and it was JRF. So always you guys should have your target as JRF, not just net. I want all my students to clear JRF. Simple. Whether you take up the JRF position or not, it is immaterial. But that JRF certificate add its own value to your resume, whether you are in the teaching field or any field for that matter. That shows that you have the authority, you have the, you can take a stand on the subject. So today, if I say something about management, people trust me or people believe me. Why do they believe? Because someone has certified me that I'm fit for that. So JRF or net is that kind of certification for you. It tells that you are fit, you are eligible to become a teacher. See, these days we see everyone becoming a professor. There are two kinds of professors. One, those who become professor by chance, other those who become professors by choice. So anyone who becomes a professor by chance gets a salary of 15,000, 20,000. Let me tell you that very clearly, especially in management. When you start, when you are a fresher, you cannot get more than 15, 20,000 rupees as a salary. But when you become a professor by choice, when you choose to become a professor, you can build your mastery on the subject and ask for the salary you want. Why will they accept? They will accept you when you have sufficient knowledge, when you demonstrate sufficient knowledge. Knowledge along with a certification of net and JRF, it can transform your career. Please understand, if you have sound understandings and sound basics of your subject, no one can stop you from clearing the JRF or the net examination for that matter. Clear? So coming to management, two approaches. Let's talk about the main approach, the major approach, the long approach that you should take. Have a 6 months timeline. Do 3 to 3.5 hours of preparation per day. More than that is not required. Okay. And there also, if you see the questions test your understanding. I see a lot of students trying to remember things. For example, you take the motivational theory. You have Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You have Alderfer's ERG theory. You have Victor Vroom's theory. So they will put out a statement that in ERG, E is for existence, R is for relatedness, G is for growth. They will give you 4 statements and ask which one of this looks like similar to growth. Okay, so when you need to motivate someone, you need to give them an opportunity to grow. Which of the following statement explains growth or connects to growth? That kind of knowledge can only come when you read the subject with interest, with passion, and with understanding. Please, it is my humble request to all my dear students, that do not read for remembering, do not read for memory. In my understanding, memory plays a very small role in management or commerce. It is purely a subject of understanding. And I love the subject. I enjoy the subject. I take 9 hours class per day on an average for management for different subjects. And I thoroughly enjoy it. I take it without any book, without any paper, without any preparation. I wake up from my sleep and I go to the class because I enjoy the subject. I want all of you to enjoy the subject to the same level. if you, put yourself into the subject, you don't have to actually go back to them. I mean, you take up let's say managerial functions, or you take accounting, or you take financial management. I have a library of roughly 4,000 books, in the same room where I'm sitting. In this 4,000 books, at least I will have 700 books on management, not one or two, 700 books on management. And each of the verticals that you can think of, strategic management, human resource management, I will have 8 to 10 books. Why did I read so much? Because I was interested in the subject. I love the subject. First key to clear is love the subject. Enjoy the subject. When you're reading it, you will get a job out of it. That's guaranteed. Whatever subject you study, be it biology, management, mechanical engineering, whatever for that matter, you will get a job. But whether you excel in that job or not, whether you excel in your job as an engineer, whether you excel in your job as a teacher, is purely dependent on how much do you enjoy the subject. If you enjoy the subject, your studying will become a cakewalk. It will become an very interesting activity. When time will pass, you will not know. See, I enjoy teaching wholeheartedly. I can stand and take classes for 8 to 9 hours, and I don't feel the pain in my legs if I stand for 8 hours continuously. Why? Because I enjoy it. Similarly, I would request all of you to enjoy your preparation. It is really beautiful. After clearing the exams, what happens is you don't have anything to prepare for. You don't have, uh, some place to show your competition, and you will actually miss it. So when you're preparing, please give your best. Put 3 to 3.5 hours per day. Make your strategy, have a plan for 6 months. Do not go for the short term, or what happens is people prepare for 1 month and then appear for the exam. You will not be able to clear in that way, in my opinion. That is not a proper strategy, and you will have to do it multiple times to get a good score. You will have to do 2 or 3 times, so you'll waste 1.5 years trying to give 3 attempts. It is better you give one rock solid attempt with 100% preparation. Success will be guaranteed. I'm telling you, net UGC net is not a tough exam. It is a very, very simple exam, guys. I'm telling you. So please ensure that you have 6 months in time in hand, 3 hours per day. Love the subject. Now coming to the modules itself. See, you take for example the principles of management or the foundations of management. If I ask you, have you guys ever gone into a book? Can anyone tell me any one book that you have read for foundations of management? The name of the book, or the author, or the publisher? Anyone? So that is where I believe a little bit of insight is required. I believe a lot of students do that for to save time in their examination. I'll just tell you, for example, if you take statistics of management, this is one book which simply tells you what is statistics of management. If you take on the same topic, you'll have second book. You will have another third book called as quantitative techniques. I would not recommend all of you to go into so many books for just one paper, but one book per paper is important if you want to clear the subject. And foundations of management, if you look, there are two great books that cannot be replaced. One is Harold Kuhn's, other one is your Pearson Learning. It is called as I think Piali Ghosh. No. Coulter. The book name is Coulter. It is a semi-Indian as well as foreign author, Coulter Vora. Excellent book, let me tell you. Excellent book, world-class book. I have read that book 20 times and I still enjoy the book. It is so beautiful. Now, if each one of you starts reading such books individually for 6 months, let's say you take Coulter book and you finish it in 20 days. Then for accounting, you go for another book. You go for, finance, you go for another book. It will take 20 days. Roughly you have 120 days. You can finish 7-8 major papers. HRM, if you go for Ashwathapa and all of that. I will write and give it to you. There is no one on the planet who can stop you from clearing the examination. But I know that it is not easy to read each of these books individually. It has a lot of pages and it is a time consuming activity. So that is where I have reduced the work for all of you, that I've consolidated all these materials. So let's say if you take a managerial functions book, it will be about, let's say, 600 pages, 500 to 600 pages. I have compiled all of it into 75 pages, simple, from the best standard author, even IIM students, IIT students, and take my word, I have Harvard students. I have people with me who have completed their MBA from Harvard and are working for 3 crore or 2 crore package in India. They are preparing for UPSC management optional. They earn 2.5, 3 crores salary per annum, and take my word, these guys in IITs, IIMs and Harvards also read the same books, which are standard author books. When I say standard author, I don't mean some local publisher. I mean standard author written with an authority on the subject. Okay. So what I have done is, for all the modules that you're going to have in your, for both commerce as well as management, for all the modules that you're going to have in your examination, I have made 75-page very crisp notes that you guys can use. So for roughly, you will be having 500 page of notes, roughly 500 page of notes per day. If you study 10 page also, 50 days you can finish the material. So if you have roughly 180 days for the examination, 50 days into 3, you can do 3 good revisions. And if you do 3 good revisions and one proper class, I mean, that's more than sufficient. I tell my UPSC students that go with 2 revisions and 1 class. Once attend the class and twice do revision. More than sufficient. Here, if you take a 6 months timeline, if you consolidate the material and if you revise it 10 pages per day, I don't think 10 pages per day is too much. You will maximum take maybe an hour or 2 hours at the max. If you're very slow in reading, you'll only take 2 hours, and you can finish 10 pages per day. You will finish 500 pages in roughly 50 days. So you can do 2 revisions also. Totally in 150 days, you'll still have 30 days left to do practice and mock test. Okay, so we have prepared some mock tests also that you guys can access later on. But the core strategy lies at this: either you study all of these books. I mean, I cannot turn the camera, otherwise I would have showed you how many books I have on management, and how beautiful is the subject. Generally people think that management is a boring subject. What do MBA people do? They become managers at the max. But you do not know that management literally controls and literally runs the world. There also, management as a subject has commands a respect. Let me tell you that management, commerce, management specifically commands a lot of respect. You people become strategists. Don't think that by clearing UGC NET JRF you can only become a professor. That is a very wrong understanding. Let me tell you that. Do you guys know that PSUs recruit through UGC NET? Do you guys know it? ONGC calls for a finance and accounts officer with a salary of 89,000 rupees. But to appear for the exam, you need to clear UGC NET. Do you guys know it? See, I'll tell you, with a simple UGC NET, you can get a 90,000 rupee job in a PSU. Finance and accounts officer in ONGC, salary, take home salary of 90,000 rupees. You do not have a narrow mindset that by clearing UGC NET, I can only become a professor. That is a very wrong idea, my friends. Because today a lot of institutions are recruiting through UGC NET. So UGC NET has become like another CAT examination as a qualifying exam to apply for a lot of government jobs. Easiest way to get government job, let me tell you that. Because not many people prepare for UGC NET. This is also a reality. I'm telling, not many people prepare properly. So if you prepare properly, you can also have a government job if you don't want to be in teaching. 90,000 rupees is not a bad salary. 4 of my friends are officers in ONGC, not 1, 4. All of them were teachers. They liked management subject. They used to teach. They cracked UGC NET and they've gone into ONGC. Not 1, 4. Okay. So if you think that your UGC NET is a very narrow examination, don't have that orientation. Come out of it. It has a lot of opportunities for you. It is a respected examination. Let me tell you that. It is a respected examination. And if you're thinking of teaching, if you have cleared JRF NET, and if you have sufficient communication skills, I believe you can start with a salary of 45,000 rupees normally in a proper B school. Clear? So keep that in mind and don't think that the world is a big place. I always tell the world is a very big place. Opportunities are unlimited for anyone who is ready to work hard. Okay, so core message is that you have to read the books individually. If you cannot read the books individually, at least attend the classes properly so that you get your schedule or syllabus covered. Again, I see a lot of students that they join the classes and I see some of them, they do not attend, or they attend, they're very careless. They miss a class once in a week, for an example. What happens is, when you miss a class, you miss continuity. For example, if I'm teaching you, let's say, organizational behavior, I've taught you about organizational culture, I'm teaching you about organization theory and design. There is a continuity in the subjects, there's a continuity in the topic. If you do not attend all the classes, the continuity will be missing. So whether you are preparing at your home or whether you join class or not, irrespective of that, have consistency in your preparation. For example, today you take financial management and you start preparation of capital structure. Today you have studied, let's say, 10 or 15 pages. Next day when you again study for the next topic, do a quick revision of whatever you have studied yesterday. Yesterday you might have done 10 pages. Today you want to do something new. Before starting new thing today, just do a quick revision of what you did yesterday. By this way, that thing will enter in your memory and it will stay there. Okay. What a lot of students they do is today they'll study for 20 pages or 20, let's say 2 or 3 hours, not study for 2 or 3 days. Again, open the book on the 4th day. When you do like that, continuous, that consistency, continuity will not be there. Your brain will not be able to connect information. Okay, this is a scientific fact. Let me tell you that you will not be able to connect information. Finally, after you have done all your preparation, the key is in revision. I'll tell you a small secret, or I will tell you a small mechanism that a lot of you might not know. See, as a teacher, I wanted to understand that why some students can remember things and why some students cannot. So I read a lot of research paper. You know how brain forms memory. Let's say I give you a new information. You must have seen railway coaches, right? You must have seen train coaches. You see a series of number written on the coaches. Do you guys, I mean, if you have traveled in train, you would have seen a serial number written on the coach, right? Some S0249 or S99871. Now I'm giving you new information that the first 2 digits on the railway coach represent the year of manufacture. So if you see a railway coach with the number 99105, so 99 stands for the year 1999 when the coach was made. 105 stands, any number greater than 100 stands for a 3-tier AC coach. Clear? So I've told you that 5-digit number, first 2 digits represents the year of manufacture. Next 3 digits represent the type of the coach. This is a new information to your brain. Now, when I have told you this information, your ear is getting it. Your ear is hearing to it. A new neuron is formed in your brain to store this information. Okay. A new neuron is formed in your brain to form this information. I mean, to store it. But problem is, neurons have a particular life of roughly 20 to 40 days. Correct? Otherwise, if neurons do not die, if neurons do not decay, people who learn more and study more, their brains will become bigger. Yes or no? That's universal fact. So it means I'm studying, neurons are formed, then neurons get decayed and I forget it. Otherwise, what would have happened? Brain would have been this bigger, which is not happening. So it means neurons undergo decay. So how do we ensure that we remember? Problem is, a neuron can live for roughly 21 to 40 days, depending upon who you are and what kind of food you eat, whether you exercise or not. Now, if you revise, let's say you have read it 20, 30 days back, again you revise. For the same information, just next to that neuron, another neuron will be formed like this. Then when you do the third revision, another neuron will be formed in the same place for the same information. So let's say you have 3 neurons. Imagine storing information on 3 pen drives. Even if you lose one pen drive, even if the second pen drive is destroyed, the third pen drive will have the information safe. Similarly, 3 neurons are there after 3 revisions. Okay, roughly add 40 days per neuron. 40 into 3, 120 days, roughly 4 months. Okay, if you do 2 to 3 revisions, the information will stay in your brain for 4 months. Okay, now if the first neuron is destroyed after 40 days, second neuron is destroyed after 80 days, third neuron will still be there after 120 days. So if you get a question and if I ask you that what is the 2-digit representing in the train coach, your brain will immediately pull out and tell, okay, that this is it. Okay, that is the mechanism by which brain works for storing information. And this is not, some logic or some absurd information. This is a scientific fact established by research papers. I am not telling you this. This is a proved medical fact. And that is why revision is so important. Another thing that I see a lot of students, a lot of even adults, we also do is that we do not sleep properly. You study for 4 hours a day. Your brain consumes huge amount of energy. When you're studying, people think that studying is a very easy activity. It is not. So you sit in one place, you don't do physical work, but your brain does mental work. And that energy is sufficient to light, a small 60-watt bulb. So your brain is consuming energy. It needs rest. So let's say if you're a working professional, you're working from, let's say, 9 o'clock till 5 in the evening, then you're studying for 2 to 3 hours. Please have 7 to 8 hours of good sleep. Without good sleep, your brain cannot remember those, the information. It cannot store it properly. You cannot retrieve it properly. Imagine having a computer which is on 24/7. Will a computer which is on 24/7, will it be functioning properly? What do you think? I mean, you guys will have laptops. What happens if you keep your computer on for 24/7 for 5 or 6 days? Will it work properly? Yes. It will not. It will not work. So you need to give that computer some break. You need to shut it down. You need to let it sleep or restart. The same goes for your body and your brain. Your brain is a bloody awesome computer. It's very, very powerful. Problem is we don't realize its potential. Give your body and your brain adequate rest. Sleep for 7 to 8 hours per day. This is the another secret to crack any competitive exam. Let me tell you that. Good sleep, very, very important. See, faculty is taken care, class is taken care, material is taken care, strategy is taken care. This no one will tell you that sleep, have a good sleep. I tell my students, I scold my students. I ask them the first question, how many hours do you sleep? They'll say, sir, 6 hours. Stupidity. Sleep for 8 hours, have good sleep for 8 hours, your brain will remember facts. And I know people who by proper exercise, proper food, have cracked a lot of exams. And I'll tell you that it applies to me also. Okay, sometimes we get careless about what food we eat. See, ultimately what you eat is what goes to your brain. That is what keeps your brain active. Okay, so proper food, proper sleep, proper books, proper textbooks, proper revision. That's it. In Buddhism, I strongly believe in Buddhism. I'm not a Buddhist, but I believe it. In Buddhism, there's a eightfold path called as right conduct, right action, right faith, and all of that. Similarly, here you need right books, right teacher, right revision, right sleep. Simple. If you have these four, I think any competitive examination is within your grasp. Same goes for commerce also. Within management and commerce, I don't think that there is a very hard and fast difference. Only thing that I see in commerce paper coming additionally is taxation and audit rules and all of that. Nothing more than that. If you take management and commerce, I think a good amount of syllabus is very common. Your auditing procedures, your taxations, and laws, business laws, they come a little bit in deeper. If you look at the previous year questions, do not try to memorize anything. I'm telling you again, try to remember. Try to understand. If you try to memorize that's where the problem is. You cannot remember a 600. If you ask me that, let's say, I have this book. If you ask me that I remembered everything in this book, no. But have I understood? Yes. You take a numerical, you give me and ask me to solve the numerical, be it a linear programming problem or a operation per 10 CPM problem, I'll be able to do it step by step. Because you have to understand it. Never try to remember anything for a competitive exam, especially like NET and JRF, where they test your knowledge. They don't test your memory. Please understand. You go for SSC CGL examination, combined graduate level exam. They'll give you 300 questions and then they'll test your memory. How much have you stored in your brain? Here we are not focusing on memory. Memory is important. I don't say that memory is not important, but if you have understanding, more than sufficient. Memory will play a very small role there. Clear? So I believe this is broadly about the examinations, methodology, structure, and all of it. There is no secret, guys. Simple. Reading good textbooks, or doing an in-depth research. I would not say research. Doing an in-depth study of the books or the materials is sufficient. And 6 months timeline is more than sufficient. If you keep 3 hours per day, 3.5 hours per day, 6 months more than sufficient. 5 to 6 days in a week. I don't say that study 7 days in a week. That is stupidity. Give break to your brain, watch a movie, travel, do whatever you enjoy or you love, but ensure that you study for 5 to 6 days in a week. That's sufficient. If you are doing 3.5 hours a day, more than sufficient. My UPSC students, they study for 8 hours per day, 8 to 10 hours per day, and they study for almost, let's say, an year. If you put 8 to 10 hours per day and you give 1 year, people crack UPSC. This is ultimately only UGC NET. You just need to give in for 6 months, more than sufficient. Clear? So I believe I've broadly given my viewpoints on what I believe about the examination and the subject. Please go ahead with your queries. I can, I think you guys should interact now. Yes, there is a fair amount of distribution between subjects. If you ask like what are those major subjects, the order is fundamentals of management, HRM, marketing, finance, strategy. You have a little bit of managerial economics also, but it plays a very small role. So there is a fixed pattern in the examination ki haan, out of let's say 100 or 150 questions, this many questions will come from this paper. Yes, there is a reason why UGC NET does that, because there are multiple types of people who appear for exam. There'll be general MBA, there'll be MBA in finance, MBA in HR, MBA in marketing. Okay, all these people should be able to clear the examination. So there is, although they do not tell it out, there is a uniform marking scheme that okay, this subject has this much. And if you ignore some subjects also, you can still clear. For example, if you take international business, export import procedures and all of that, when I was preparing, I did not like that export import stuff so much, so I completely ignored it. And still, questions came, I was able to ignore and still crack it. So you can ignore one paper, I believe, one paper which you don't like. Okay, for example, I am someone who loves operations and finance. Operations, finance, HR, I thoroughly enjoy. I hate marketing to a certain extent. I feel it is little boring. Okay, but the subject is important. I ignored marketing. I did the same in my UPSC also. I ignored marketing completely. Still able to, I got national first in UPSC management optional without reading. I mean, I had read the book for on marketing, but I did not go in deep into it. Okay, so yes, there is a structured pattern, and you can ignore only one subject, not more than that. You can go to the exam without touching one subject. Commerce also, I would suggest there are multiple books on taxations and auditing and your basic subjects. Not, there is no one book. If you guys are using Arihant standard material or your Upkar Prakashan standard material, take my word, that is not going to help you. So one book Soundarya is not the approach. One book for all the subjects. If you think that by using the UGC NET material of Arihant or Upkar Prakashan or any publication, you can clear, that is a wrong thing, Soundarya. For each subject, go for one standard textbook. Clear, Soundarya?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
And
Thank
I'll prepare a detailed list of the textbooks, and I'll ask Mr. Srinivasan to mail it to all of you. Okay, I'll have a
Thank you, sir.
textbook list. Okay. Yes. Next query, please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Saranya.
I think the same question I'm asking. Sir, please tell me the standard books for each subject. Or if you do you have any combined notes like Gupta, Peers and Romance like that? I thought these books not enough to prepare the exam.
No, that is a shortcut, Saranya. I think Upkar, Gupta's publication, whatever it is, I believe these books are somewhere a shortcut. And maybe you can appear and you can crack, but are they a guarantee ki if you do these books, will you clear? No. But if you do standard textbooks and if you prepare thoroughly, will you clear? 100% yes. I never bought Arihant, I never bought Gupta, or I never bought Upkar. Any of these textbooks are not there in my library of 4,000 books. I do not have these textbooks. Because what are these books? These textbooks are nothing but collection of small part of multiple books binded into one and given to you as a textbook. My suggestion, each subject you go for one standard textbook. Yes, I have already made a very consolidated note of roughly 500 page for management and commerce. I'll give it to you in some time, and you can use that also. That I believe is more than sufficient for you to help you crack the NET exam. You can ask that will it get you to the JRF level? You will have to study a little deeper for JRF. But that material that I have prepared for about 500 pages is more than sufficient for your cracking NET. Okay, Saranya. So you will get the book list. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So someone asked how to score high marks. High marks, again, the same thing, reading good books and revision. Okay. What are the main focus areas? See, for all the main focus areas of be it commerce or management are the standard subjects of a master's degree. So if you take an MBA, MBA, general MBA, in the first semester and the second semester, you have all the important papers. HR, accounting, finance, marketing, operation, strategy. That's it. Similarly, for MCOM, all the papers in your first year. In commerce, all the papers you'll find in first year, like your taxation, business law, and all of that, you will have a part of it. Okay, so only the first year papers of your college degree is more than sufficient to focus. How to focus in paper one? What is that question? Let me see. Reasoning. Okay, the concept and how to score in reasoning. See, for paper one, concept and reasoning, the only option is to practice aptitude aggressively. I think paper one batches are running, and you need to practice aptitude aggressively. There is no other. If someone can say that, sir, is there a shortcut? No. Aptitude comes by practice only, because it's something that deeply involves your brain. You need to sit and practice aptitude for at least an hour a day. There's no shortcut. Logical reasoning, again, someone has asked. See, guys, I'll tell you, my experience with aptitude examinations and my experience with reasoning examinations has been like, I prepared for them for about 3 months. I continuously, in 2010, I'm talking almost 11 years, 12 years back, I prepared 3 months completely doing 4 to 5 hours aptitude per day. Completely only doing aptitude per day, 3 hours for 3 to 4 hours, 3 months. I did not do anything. And after that, I have never practiced aptitude and reasoning in my life. I have cracked CAT, I have cracked RBI, I have cracked obviously your NET examination. I have cracked UPSC's, prelims and mains. I have cracked the Assistant Central Intelligence Officer, ACIO examination of Intelligence Bureau, which recruits you as a DSP in intelligence. Okay. Then I've cracked Coal India's network, Coal India Officer Training Exam, ONGC examinations, and I have never practiced aptitude in my whole life. So what I'm trying to tell you is, when you study once, study properly. That's it. 3 to 4 hours per day. If you're doing aptitude separately, I'm telling you, for 3 months, sit and study. You can crack any exam again. I'm telling you. You know the books, R.S. Agarwal, verbal and non-verbal reasoning, and your quantitative aptitude. You don't have to go and prepare anything new. Standard material, consistent preparation. I have read aptitude only that time in my life. I still remember. I'll tell you how to compare the timelines. When I used to buy, R.S. Agarwal quantitative aptitude book was for 180 rupees, and reasoning book was for 350 rupees. Today, the price of R.S. Agarwal reasoning book is around 900 rupee, and aptitude book is around 450, 500, if I'm not wrong. So if you compare 10 years, rough inflation, the price has gone up to 3 times. So inflation is about 7% in India. You can simply calculate it. Okay, so I tell students that, okay, when the prices was this of the same book, I used to practice. That shows how much time has passed, and at times I feel old, that I'm getting old. Okay, when I see all the new books in the market. Yes, so the secret to reasoning and aptitude is continuous practice, no shortcut. Main focus areas I have told you: first year's material, first year syllabus, subject of your respective examinations. Short tips for achieving the targeted cutoff. See, I'll tell you something: never work for cutoff in any exam. That approach will backfire, because I do not know if you guys know how cutoff is prepared. Cutoff is prepared using a bell curve. In management and commerce, if you study statistics, you come across the normal distribution curve, right? I believe you guys would have read. So the cutoff is plotted using a bell curve that purely depends upon your sample size, number of people who are appearing for the examination, how well they are doing in the examination. So if, let's say, 2 lakh people are appearing for UGC NET in your paper, okay, you do not know how other 1,99,999 will be preparing. You cannot depend on them. So you better depend on yourself. Do a good preparation. Don't worry about cutoff. In competitive examinations, cutoff is a biggest myth that people are trying to predict. You cannot. Don't do that. You can predict obviously based on previous year ranges, but don't go by the cutoff. Don't operate in the cutoff range. That's a range of high and low. Don't operate in that range. Always go beyond that range. Cutoff is, for example, let's say 70 marks. Aim for 90. Always. Don't go by cutoff. Whatever is the previous year cutoffs, aim 20 marks more than that. Simple. Don't target for the cutoff range. Okay, for everything, always prepare. If you're prepared, it will be easier. Always practice, always have a demo or mock. Okay, so I think what we have done here is what we have done here is I have made a very interactive 100 marks tests. Okay, so we have made a Google form based 10 tests, okay, that you guys can take up after the subjects are completed, and that will be a rough approximation of your UGC NET exam. It will be a timed exam. It will not be like, you can simply open and download and read. No, there's a Google classroom, a question is fed in, you can take up the test, and that will be sufficient to give you an idea of how good you're doing. Clear? So I think that problem is solved. Yes. Do we have any other queries? Please go ahead. Questions are very twisted and confused. How to manage that? Yeah. So I don't think questions are twisted. Just give me a minute. And yeah, I don't think that questions are twisted. They try to test the depth of your knowledge. See, there are two things when it comes to subjects. Okay. One is the width, other one is the depth. Width is how much do you know in different areas. Depth is how well do you know in one particular area. So if I say managerial economics, or if I say financial management, or if I say taxation laws, how well do you know each of these verticals? Okay, questions are not twisted. They look like twisted. They are only testing your understanding. They look twisted because you have not prepared from understanding perspective. You have prepared from memory. Okay, they'll simply give you, see, again and again I'm telling you, don't focus on memory, focus on understanding. If you focus on understanding, questions will not appear twisted. Describe the major considerations in forecasting manpower requirement. What are the sources of forecasted manpower? Simple, it is a 15-mark question. So can anyone tell me from which area is this question coming? Describe the major considerations in forecasting manpower requirements. What are the supply sources of forecasted manpower? Which subject from management? OB, marketing, finance, HR, which subject? Human resource planning. This is a very direct forward question. If someone comes and tells to me that this is twisted, no, I'll tell you what is a twisted question. Okay, I'll just tell you what is a twisted question. I'll read it out for you. What supply chain management strategies were adopted by leading e-commerce companies like Amazon and Flipkart during the lockdown period of the corona pandemic? The answer to this question you will never find in a textbook. Here you need two things: static knowledge, dynamic knowledge. Static knowledge will come from what is supply chain management of your textbook, and a little bit awareness and knowledge of current affairs of how the COVID pandemic was managed. You combine both, you can give a good answer. This people will tell that this is a twisted question. No, this is testing your understanding. You will not read about Amazon or Flipkart supply chain in your textbook. You would have to read it from current affairs. This is not twisted. I'll read out another question, very standard, simple question. What is central limit theorem? Discuss the concept of standard error. What is utility in hypothesis testing? Standard, straightforward question. Now, you see how they confuse a question and how they ask you. Apply the concept of decay curve of a new product idea to an innovative product line, product like e-bike. What is a decay curve? Have you guys studied about decay curve? It is nothing but product life cycle, growth, maturity, decline. I believe all of you would have read it if you have studied the basics. Simple. They are asking how that decay happens in different markets: introductory stage, growth stage, maturity stage, decline stage. That's all. They have not used the business life cycle word. They've used decay. Now they'll ask, sir, you have never taken product decay in the class itself. And that's when I'll tell them that this product decay is nothing but life cycle management. So when you have understanding of the subject, you will be able to connect the questions to the topics. That comes when you enjoy the subject. Clear? Then let me see if there's any other question. Yeah. About research methodology preparation in paper 1 and paper 2 management. Okay. See guys, I'll tell you something. I am a big fan of research methodology. Okay. And I enjoy research methodology thoroughly. If you see Cooper, Schindler, another one book on research management. Then I think I have 3 more. This is Kothari, research methodology on Kothari. I do research. I'm a proper researcher. I enjoy doing research. Research methodology is a subject that needs a little bit of time. In paper 1, research methodology, you need to sit and prepare. I think when when I was doing my initial years of my PhD, my guide told me to do research methodology from this book. This is what? How many page? 350, 400 page. I said, sir, this book looks too thin. I will not read this. So I went and, this is a globally acclaimed author. Pamela Schindler. This is a very good book. I think if you guys can read this, good. I mean, there's no, but if there's no need of it, but if you can read it, hats off. You will not require anything else to clear research methodology. Again, I think this is a bit too much for a UGC NET aspirant. I would not ask you to do so. If you're doing PhD, if you're doing research, you can go for these books. But short materials of this is also available in the market. I think this particular textbook is roughly how many pages? 900 pages. Yeah. So some I think we are also we at KB, we have consolidated material for the same. You can use that. Otherwise, the best way to prepare research methodologies through this Pamela and Schindler book. No other option. Yes.
சார் இப்போ MBA செகண்ட் இயர் எக்ஸாம் நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு. பிப்ரவரில எக்ஸாம் சொல்லிருக்காங்க. இப்போ எப்படி சார் நம்ம ப்ரிப்பேர் பாக்குறது, எப்படி சார் ப்ரிப்பேர் ஆக முடியும்?
எந்த காலேஜ்ல
இப்போ நம்ம UGC NET எக்ஸாம் ப்ரிப்பேர் தனியா சார் PPG இன்ஸ்டிடியூட் ஆஃப் டெக்னாலஜி சார்.
ஓகே, PPG சார். ஓகே. இப்போ நீங்க செகண்ட் இயர்ல இருக்கீங்க, ஃபைனல் செமஸ்டர் கரெக்ட்டா?
எஸ் சார், தேர்ட் செமஸ்டர்ல சார்.
தேர்ட் செமஸ்டர். சோ இப்போ ஒரு 6-7 பேப்பர் எழுதுவீங்க, தென் உங்களுக்கு ப்ராஜெக்ட் செமஸ்டர் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகும்.
8 பேப்பர் சார். எஸ்
சார். 8 பேப்பர் எழுதுங்க, ப்ராஜெக்ட் செமஸ்டர் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகும். நான் என்ன சொல்லுவேன்னா, இப்போதைக்கு ஐ திங்க் உங்களுக்கு ஜனவரி எண்ட் இல்ல ஃபெப்ரவரி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வீக்ல செமஸ்டர் எக்ஸாம்ஸ் வந்துரும். ஆக்சுவலா ஜனவரி செகண்ட் தேர்ட் வீக்ல செமஸ்டர்ஸ் எக்ஸாம் இருக்க வேண்டியது, பிகாஸ் லாக்டவுன்னால போஸ்ட்போன் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. இப்போதைக்கு நான் என்ன சொல்லுவேன்னா, ஃபோக்கஸ் ஆன் தட் 8 பேப்பர்ஸ். அந்த என்ன ஸ்பெஷலைசேஷன் நீங்க?
Logistics supply chain management.
Supply chain management. So you will be having your LSCM paper, you will be having operations and all of that, right?
Yes sir.
அப்போ நீங்க என்ன பண்ணுங்கன்னா, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அந்த சப்ஜெக்ட் ப்ராப்பரா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஃபோக்கஸ் ஆன் யுவர் what do you call semester exams. Finish your semester exam. Study properly. நல்லா ப்ராப்பரா செமஸ்டர் எக்ஸாம் படிங்க. Finish your semester exam. Parallelly, then once you have written your semester, from next day you start studying other papers. இப்போதைக்கு அந்த 8 பேப்பர்ஸ் என்ன இருக்கோ அது மேல ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணுங்க, சரியா?
Okay sir, thank you.
முதல்ல please finish your semester. Scores are also very important. See, MBA, let me tell you simple rule of any government exam anywhere you go. 2 people are there, both of you have cleared UGC NET JRF, and both of you are equally talented. Whom will they recruit? They will recruit someone who has more mark in their post graduation. Let's say you have 7 CGPA, someone has 8 CGPA. They will recruit someone with 8 CGPA only. Okay, so do not ignore, if you're doing your MBA, if you're doing your courses, MCOM, please give importance and respect to your semester exams. Your scores matter. You will not know it now. சரியா? சோ நீங்க அது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் படிங்க, அதுக்கு அப்புறம் நீங்க இது பண்ணிக்கலாம், சரிங்களா?
Okay, thank you sir.
Yes pa. Then other queries? Yes, any opportunities in research centers, sir? Is that based on the marks we get in it? Yes Vaishali, whatever marks you score in your JRF, if you want to work in research centers, focus on JRF, focus on high scores in JRF. That will help you in getting placed in a research center. Clear Vaishali? Whether you're doing commerce or management or any subject for that matter, JRF is very, very important to get as a research fellow or as a research assistant. JRF scores is very important. You need to score well. Lot of opportunities are there. If you look into daily newspapers and all of that, lot of day-to-day opportunities are there in research centers. They pay you nicely also. They pay from 25,000-30,000 rupees. Clear Vaishali? I hope I have answered you. All right. I think if there are no queries, thank you so much all of you for joining. I wish you all the best for all that is ahead in your life, be it exams or anything. Prepare well, study well, and success and failure is just a matter of time. So keep preparing, enjoy your life, live healthy, have a healthy and good life. I think we are in the midst of COVID. Take care of your health, take care of people around you, your friends and your family, and yeah, all the best. Thank you guys. Thank you. It was nice talking to all of you.
Yes.